Okay, welcome back everyone. I extend my greetings from wherever you are watching me from. Okay, if you followed me in my last section, which was section 2, now we are diving into section 3. And in section 3, I'll be discussing on lines. And I'll be showing you some of the tools that we use in making out these lines. Let's begin with our freehand tool, which is this one. Make sure you are watching my screen. Watch my pointer very carefully. So this is my freehand tool. And once you come to these tools, you find out that you have arrow at the edge of the tools. Once you click on the arrow, the other sub tools will be displayed. We have sub tools under some of these tools. You can see this, you can see this, you can see this, you can see this. So the same goes with all the tools here. So let's pick our freehand tool to make use of the first line. Remember this, my diagram I drew here, I made use of the freehand tool. So, but now I want to talk on lines. So I'll be displaying some of the lines we have here. So using freehand tool as a line, let's see how it goes. I left click, hold my freehand tool to draw a line that I need. You can see that I can also left click, hold my freehand tool, or I just use, without left clicking, I can draw, just double click and draw a line the way I need it. You can see that with freehand tool you can draw any line. Remember that these my trees I drew here, I also drew them with a freehand tool just by left clicking. Then you can just make use of the freehand tool as a sketch, just trying to create something reasonable depending on what you want to create. So you can see. So it's just like you having a pencil on your hand and you want to use it to create something reasonable. That is the work of the freehand tool. You can see this particular one, I'm trying to create something like a bird here, and you can watch the magic I'll do now. Once you pick any tool and you want to drop it, you can just easily go to this pick tool and click on it. That tool will disappear, it will be dropped automatically. So watch what I want to do with this image, this particular image. I've converted it to a bird. You can see that it looks like a bird flying on the air there. You know, this is my atmosphere. So you can use the freehand tool to sketch. Then let's move faster. Then we have 2-point line tool. So this 2-point line tool is, you know, it is more straight. You know, it's more straight than the freehand tool. You can see it. It gives you a very straight curve. Gives you a very straight curve. You can still increase this to join this. You can see that I have something like a table. I want to move it this particular place. Let me take it here. Then I can still, maybe if I want to make a diagram of a table, I can now come here, just select my triangle here. I have another one here. Remember, this is just a rough sketch. I'm just trying to show you that, you know, there are some possibilities with the use of some of these tools, drawing lines. So you can see I have a table. Let me drop this. Let me drop my tool. So you can see that I have a table, fixed already. Now, let's go to the next tool there, the next line tool, which is Bezier. See, I'm going to really talk on all these tools, but I'll be taking them gradually. Remember that what I'm just doing is just showing you a sketch of how these tools can be used in any type of diagram you want to create, or any type of picture you want to come up with. So you can now on your own reason out the best tool that will be good for you to handle that particular project. So let's talk of the Bezier now. You can see the Bezier is, it lets you draw lines and curves node by node. That's what we call node. Watch me. I want to draw a line. So you see how let me increase this so that we can see what is happening here. This is so you can see that using a Bezier tool, it's kind of sticky. It's a sticky tool, so you have to learn how to make use of it so that you can be able to get what you need actually out of this tool. So it's a sticky pen tool. If you don't know how to use it, you can't be able to use it. So want to use it again, and watch me. So sometimes, most of this Bezier tool, after you have created an image that you need, you can just easily drop it, come here, pick this shape tool, and create another node and make it you can see that, make it more lively. Okay, sometimes we use these tools majorly for when we want to create things like logo. You can see this particular one, I want to use the shape tool to really work on it. It can help you create shapes. Watch, anywhere I want to reshape, I'll create a node there. So you can see that I've created I've created a shape out of this. And with this shape, you can see I have something like a logo. Let me delete this. This particular shape now, once I have dropped my tool. Once I do this and group it, I group these shapes. You know they were separated before, now automatically they become two, and I can reduce it to a shape of a logo. I can change, if I click on the center, watch me now. You see this X here. Once I click on that X, this particular circular triangle comes up with this particular one that looks like, you know, it's as though it's going to be used for a drop down. Then I can turn it from this circle. Watch, from this angle, you can turn it however you want that logo to be, or the shape of the logo to take. For instance, I wanted the shape of the logo like this. So maybe I wanted the shape of the logo like this. Then automatically I turn it that way. So with this, someone can, you know, create a logo and even make it more fanciful. So that's the work of that particular tool. That is the work of the Bezier tool. You shape lines, you know, into different formats. You keep on shaping lines into different formats to create something reasonable. So that's the work of the Bezier tool. So, and all these lines I have like this, remember, I can still come here and shape them. So I keep shaping it until I get the quality of the shape I need. So that's the work of that. Then let's proceed. I need to delete some of these things. So we can see what we are doing. But let's just proceed. Okay. Now the next tool there, the next line tool there is the pen tool. This is a very active tool. You know, it helps us draw lines in one segment, that is either a curved or straight line at a time, by placing each node with precision and controlling the nodes of each curved segment. So you can see that with the pen tool, you can easily, you know, do something more attractive than the Bezier tool. And when you want to use the pen tool, most times you you right click and drop the pen tool also by right clicking, just as I'm doing now. Actually, I am left clicking. I can use the pen tool to trace a picture and it will give you exactly what you need. So you can see that you can use the pen tool actually to, I think I'm done with this. I have created, you know, a segmented rectangle without having any much challenge. That of the Bezier tool, you don't have this precision, you know, the command you have when using a pen tool, because it's so sticky. But with a pen tool, you can easily right click to drop. Watch me. If I want to trace this image, I left click now. Sorry, I'm using left click. Sorry, I left click. I drop my pen. I move again. I left click. I drop my pen. I left click. I drop my pen. I left click. I drop my pen also. When I wanted to move to this point, I don't hold the left click. If you hold the left click, it will become sticky at that point. So I don't hold the left click. So I just free it and move it up, then left click again, move it up, left click. Watch what will happen now. If I hold my left click, left click, left click. See now, if I hold the left click and, you know, want to move down, see this sticky, this thing will become sticky. So in order not to allow it to become sticky, you just remove your hand from the left click and then move the pen to wherever you want it to go. You see, so you can actually use it with precision, you know, with that command authority, without it being sticky. By the time you left click, you drop it, you move it again, you left click, you drop it, you move it again, you left click, you drop it. You can actually decide where it is going. So compared to when you use the Bezier tool, the Bezier tool can only be flexible when you use the shape tool, which is this, to work on it. So, and whenever you have something like this, you can easily press escape, ESC. There is a key at your keyboard by your left hand side, the first key by your left hand side, up there, up, that is close to the power button. You will see ESC, that is escape. Once you click on that escape, you drop your pen or drop any sticky tool and then hit the pick tool. So that's that. So we want to move over now to the B-Spline, the B-Spline tool. This tool helps you draw curved lines by settling control points that shape the curve without breaking it into segments. So that's what the B-Spline tool can help us do. You can see that. You can see how very clean it is. If you watch when I was drawing it, to see how, you know, it was being controlled. So that's the work of this. I could have used this to even construct my mountain. It will have been more neater than using just the freehand tool. Any of these tools you want to make use of, you can always move them around from the center. I want to reduce this one. When you are making reduction of any shape, we do the reduction from the angles, from the extreme, not from the midpoint. We don't do reduction from the midpoint. We don't do reduction from here. Maybe if I want to reduce this particular one now, I don't reduce from this edge or from this node. I actually go from this particular angle, or from here, or from here, or from here. And we don't do make adjustment of shapes from the middle of the line. We go through the angles so that we can retain the scale of that particular shape. If you adjust carelessly, you will lose your scale of that particular shape, and when you print your work out, you find out that it does not look real, does not look realistic. You have spoiled the scale. So let's move on now. So the next one is the polyline, the polyline. So this polyline helps you draw freehand lines, with curves and straight segments, as if you were sketching on a sketch pad, just almost exactly the way the freehand tool operates. So let's pick our polyline, just almost exactly the way the freehand tool operates. So you can see it. Remember, as I'm doing this, I'm holding on my left click so that I can be able to make it flexible. I'm holding on my left click as I am doing this. So I close it. So you can see how it is, how it operates. You can draw anything that you need. And once you have drawn a diagram like this and you were able to close it, you can easily hit the color button and give it any color you need. You cannot color a shape that is not closed. This one can be colored because it is closed. This one now, see this three. Let's see if it can be colored. Which means the tree, if it can be colored, it means that the tree is closed. I'm looking for a shape that's is empty. Okay, let me just quickly draw a shape that is empty. Using my three line curve. Okay. See this curve now. Once let me drop my tool, then once I hit center, I'll click Ctrl+D to duplicate it. Once I click Ctrl+D to duplicate it, it's now 2 there. I want to turn the second one as though it's a circle. So you can see now, watch, you can see that this shape looks closed and I want to apply the color. Watch. Okay, I want to apply color now. Let's see. You see, I click on the green color it does not work, I click on the red color, because even if it looks closed, it is open, because this node did not join with this node here, and this node here did not join with this node here. There is a node here and there is a node here. So it is until those nodes join together, that is when a shape can be formed. It is until those nodes join together, that is when a shape can be formed. Trying to make a little adjustment so as to join the nodes. Trying to make a little adjustment so as to join the nodes. Okay, let's see. So I don't want to waste our time much, but if I succeed in closing this node, if I succeed in closing it, you can see that this one is a little bit if you watch, I've not closed it. You can see that this one is a little bit open. So it is until when I succeed in closing it, that is when you can be able to color it. So, but let's leave that. So that we can proceed. So that's that. Then the next lines we have here is the parallel dimension lines. Parallel dimension. With these ones, you can create lines. You can create parallel lines easily. Once you want to make use of any of these two, you have to hold your left click and drag, and then you leave. Once you leave the left click and you double click on it, the tool will be left. The tool will leave your board. This particular one now, I did not double click on it, so you can see it's giving me, it's giving me a shape different from a parallel line. So if I double click on it now, it leaves the shape. So that is the work of this parallel dimension. Then let's look at the horizontal. So this horizontal connector lines, these tools are called connector lines. This is actually a right angle. It's a right angle connector tool. You draw a right angle connector line that wraps around objects. So this one is just to help you draw a right angle connector line. The first one helps you draw a parallel line. Then the next one here is, I think we are done with horizontal, we are done with angular dimension. Okay, we have not used the angular dimension. If you want to use the angular dimension, it helps you draw something like this. Let's close it. You see that I have drawn an angle of 45 degrees. I've I've drawn an angle of 45 degrees. I can still have something like this. Have something like this. Watch it. So once you double click, you release the tool from your board, and you can see my cursor. My cursor is still having the tool on it. So if I go here and drop it on the pick tool, I free my cursor so that I can now pick any other tool that I need. So that's that. Then if you come to the segment dimension, if you watch this particular triangle here, let's say I want to pick the segment see that I picked the segment of this particular shape. This one is majorly used for Archi students. So if I drop it, I'll drop the segment. Watch. I want to make it more clearer to us. For instance, let me use one of the lines, like the 2-pointer line. Okay, I would have loved to use the pen, but I've already picked the 2-pointer line, so let's just make use of it. I want to show you something. Okay, now I dropped the pen tool, so I want to show you what that segment can do. This segment dimension. Okay, watch. You have to do it in such a way that it needs to cover that particular segment you want to build. It needs to cover it. Can you see it? So you can see, let me do it again. So you can see that it has built a segment for that particular line. It has built a segment for that particular line. See another segment. See another segment. I've dropped it. I want to cover it again. You have to cover that particular area you are building segment for. It has cut my table alongside with it. Remember that once you want to undo anything, you can press Ctrl+Z. Ctrl+Z can help you undo whatever you have done wrong. Ctrl+Z, you can see it. Ctrl+Z, you can see it. Ctrl+Z, you can see it. Either you press Ctrl+Z or you go here. If you go here, you see undo. You can see redo. I believe you know that the shortcut for redo is Ctrl+Y. So that's it. Then let's move on. Drop my pen, and then the next tool there is the 3-point Callout tool. Actually, this 3 point callout just it lets you draw a callout with a 2 segment leader line. It's just a 3 point tool that can help you draw. You know. So it helps you draw 3 point tools easily. Then let's move over to the next lines, which are connector lines. So before I use this connector line, let me have my a shape here. Let me have 2 shapes. This particular shape is a rectangular shape. I want to duplicate it. I have dropped my tool, Ctrl+D. Automatically, if I click Ctrl+D on this, it has been duplicated. So once I separate them, then I can now come to that connector. You can see my connector tool. Once you activate this connector tool, it activates different nodes. See, which means you can be able to connect one node to another node easily. See it? I hit on it again. I want to activate it again. I want to connect this node. I want to connect another node. You can see the way it works. It can easily, move from one node to another just to connect nodes, like a wireframe. For those that do Figma files, you can easily connect one node to another. So that's okay. Watch here now. I want to connect this node to this node. I want to also connect this node to this node. Now I can still use the shape tool, which is this tool. This is called the shape tool. I can use the shape tool to still change the direction or the connection. You can see it. So I've changed from this middle to the extreme. So that's what connector lines can help you do. They help you connect one node to another node, just like a wireframe. So that's it. And the second one is called anchor editing. This one, you can easily place your node wherever you want it to be by yourself. Automatically place your nodes by yourself by double clicking on the areas you want the node to be. Remember that the first one comes automatically. The first connector just has its node at the 4 points. It comes automatically. But this one, you can move it to anywhere you want it to be. And these nodes are meant for connections. Once you hit a node here, automatically you can connect from one node to another with lines. So that's it. Okay, let's say I want to use my 2-pointer line, connect from this node to this node. Hope the nodes are connected. If you watch this is a node. If you watch this tool, you see that it can be able to read nodes. Here is a node. See the edge, midpoint. See another node. Node. Midpoint, you can see it. Node, edge. So connecting one node to another node can give you a segment. So that's it. And it will give you a straight point segment. And you can easily dissect angles. You can easily dissect shapes smoothly when you connect one node to another node. Maybe, for example, if I want to cut this rectangle into two, automatically with this connection of these two nodes, they will be splitted into two equal halves. So that's it. With this, I think I've come to the end of this segment where we use lines to create objects. You can see so many wonderful objects that I have created with lines. You know, it might look as though I didn't create much, but I just showed you how those lines operate. I can use my lines to create, you know, so many beautiful objects. Just as it is represented here, we have the tree, we have the table. If I want to color this table now, I can give it, you know, a color of my choice, and it becomes beautiful. It becomes beautiful. So you can see it. So you can work on using lines to create something realistic. So by the next section of this video, I'll be teaching more on how to use objects, how to pick objects that are hidden under a different object. Maybe, for example, if you import an object, if you import more than one object and you imported up to, let's say, 3 objects, and one of the object image is hiding under one, I can show you how to easily, you know, sort it out. And then by that next section also, I'll be talking more on the tools and the ribbons of CorelDRAW. Remember, these ones now are the ribbons we have here. Under the ribbons, we have different tabs. I see them. They are much. Then I'll also be expatiating on some of these tools also, because I'm not done with the tools. So in our next session, we will proceed with using more of these tools: the crop, the knife, the zoom, the pan. We have talked on lines. So other artistic tools will be discussed on our next session. Remember that all these are just sketches. We are just doing sketches with lines. So by the time we enter into real life projects, we'll see what we can be able to produce for real. So thank you. See you in our next section, which is section 4. Take care.